What's up, people? How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Nick Spinelli Show. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you. Appreciate you all for being here and whatnot. Beautiful Tuesday. Last weekend, or last week when we did the show, it wasn't as beautiful. Now it's pretty damn beautiful again. So we're going to keep this trend going. Summer's here. It's June 1st, 2021. We're in summer. I mean, it's not the official day of summer yet, but summer starts Memorial Day. We all know that. So even though the weather this past weekend sucked, it was crazy. It was so cold. Me and Santi had to bust out the tracksuits again. Had to bust out the tracksuits. It was that cold. It wasn't even track. It was like tracksuit plus a hoodie weather this weekend. It's a shame. But then it flipped back as soon as like Monday started. We actually have I don't know why I'm so into it. I don't know. I'm dragging Santi along to this, but we actually have an alternative to the tracksuit for all summer. And oh my God. Oh my God. Wait till you see the outfits we have planned for loading in and loading out all summer in the hot summer days. Oh, fire. Absolute fire. But anyway, great show for you today. We got DJ Woo Pig, people. Woo Pig's going to be on later. I'm really excited to interview him. Super cool dude. If you haven't heard of him, he's got a great YouTube channel. He crushes the videos on that and everything. He runs an awesome company. And he's from down south. He's from Arkansas. So, I have a lot of questions. I've never been to Arkansas, and I don't know anything about that world. So I'm interested to, hear how it works down there and how he was able to kind of basically build a huge YouTube channel, like way bigger than mine, in a pretty short amount of time with not a lot of videos, not a lot like in the grand scheme of things. He has like 170 something videos, 20 something thousand subs, tons of plays, but then he also built a business at the same time. I don't know. I just think it's interesting. I think he's like a really good dude and a hard worker, and I don't know how he did it. So definitely going to talk to him about all of that. But yeah, let's, as we do with every weekend, let me, show you my travels. This is what I was up to this weekend. I had a little music this time. I want to have like a little traveling music. I'm trying to get this whole travel formula right. So if you guys hear it, if you're just listening to it on the podcast, like when the music's playing, my little truck and trailer is traveling to the next, thing or whatever. So I don't know. That's going to be my thing. So we'll go with the travel music. So, started out at home, went on up to the beautiful Ashford Estate I forget the name of the town, but did a wedding there, had a great time, traveled home. After that, went on up to this barn, also forget the name, but I'll give it to you in a second. Did a wedding there, had a great time, traveled on home. These are short drives too. The barn was only about like 45 minutes away, so it wasn't too bad. And then after that, we traveled up all the way to Long Beach Island, which is, it's a long island on the beach, to Mallard Island Yacht Club. Great ass time last Sunday night. And then traveled home. That was like probably our longest drive of the weekend. I'll bring this over here. So I ran into something and, also learned something and also thought of something, something came up that I thought I wanted to share with you guys at every single wedding. I had 3 weddings this weekend, and all 3 weddings, something popped up where I'm like, I'm going to write this down. I want to talk about this on Tuesday because I think it could be useful. And so we'll start with Friday. So basically Friday, I was at the beautiful Ashford Estate. This venue's crazy. This is one of those ballrooms. It's a Weddings of Distinction place. So Weddings of Distinction in New Jersey is like, they own a couple venues. I was actually at 2 of their venues this weekend, and all their venues are crazy, and it's just like top. Very fancy. Over the top fancy. So fancy, you feel like you don't belong. I still walk into these places, and I'm like, I don't belong here. This is too fancy for me. Super cool spot. Like this, like Tracy Morgan got married here. Mike Trout got married here. A bunch of they do celebrity weddings here. Gorgeous. One of those ballrooms you walk in and it's like, whoa, this place is cool. Like huge, I don't know, 30-foot ceilings, 40-foot ceilings, huge. But anyway, I ran in to something and I was giving a lot of thought too, like afterwards, really thinking about it because I kind of learned something and I kind of been thinking this for a while, and it has to do with slow dances, right? So this ended up being a great crowd. It was a fun-ass crowd, fun wedding. But it... oh, it swallowed down the wrong tube. But it didn't start out that way. It didn't start out like the greatest crowd ever. And what happened is so I go to start this wedding, right? We get done, all our formalities, everything. I gave them enough time, usually. So just so if you're not familiar in Jersey, like our format is, we do all the intros, everything. A lot of times we'll do parent dances, first dance, parent dances, and then the speeches and whatnot, kind of up front, unless it's like a lot, or, multiple 10 speeches and all that, then sometimes we'll break it up as well. But most of the time we put a lot of the stuff up front. Then I usually give like a song or two for people to use the bathroom, right? Because especially if you're sitting through right after speeches, right? The couple of these speeches at this wedding in particular took a little while. So, I gave them a song, I think 2 songs to use the bathroom, grab a drink at the bar, that sort of thing. You'll see people get right up, right? And you chill. And then you open up the dance floor because you still have, in Jersey, you'll have like 45 minutes until dinner's ready, right? So then you open up the dance floor. So, gave him the 2 songs, and I opened up the dance floor with a slow dance. I don't always do this, but I would say I do it more than not for the first time I officially open up the dance floor because, in my head, knock out a slow dance. At least I did it. And later on, if it's a good crowd, we just rage all night. I don't have to worry about it. And we're going to talk about slow dances in a second. But in this particular, time, I opened up for a slow dance. I put on, I think it was a request they had. It was like Dan and Shay. It was like Speechless or one of those, right? 2 couples came out. That was it. 2. Now I'm freaking out. Fuck, right? Nobody came out. And there was old people there, And that's, and that's why I want to talk with you guys about, that's why I did a poll, how many slow dances you guys play and, and all that. And I got a lot of reasoning, a lot of different numbers too. It was kind of all over the place. And, I would say one of the main reasons why I play a slow dance is because of old people, because old people like to dance to slow dances, I'll never forget, I was at the doctor's one time, seeing my doctor. It was a couple years ago. And he was just saying, my doctor complained to me. He's like, he knows I DJ weddings. I've been, going to him forever. He's like my family doctor. And he was like, dude, I went to a wedding. He didn't say dude. He talks like a doctor. But he was like, Nick, I went to a wedding last weekend. And I was so upset they didn't play one slow dance. So, like, me and my wife didn't dance once, right? And he's an older guy, and I'm like, wow, that drove it in my head further, you know what I mean? Like, I remember thinking, like, wow, some people just slow dance, and that's it. So, like, it's always a good point to play slow dances. But, like, at that time, too, I never had a slow dance really bomb. Like, now, like, so what happened to this wedding? I play a slow dance, 2 people come out. So I'm like, shit, well, maybe I need an older slow dance, right? Now I'm like second guessing myself. Well, do I drop a banger right now when there's only 2 couples on the dance floor? Is that what I do? Do I just like drop a banger when there's only 2 couples? So I'm thinking, I'm like, I don't know. Fuck it. You know what? Maybe this is too new, and it's also country. And, who knows? Plenty of people maybe don't like country. I don't know. So let's play it safe. I played a second slow dance, and I never do this. It used to be what you did back in the day. You always played 2 in a row, but then I played a second slow dance. I played At Last, and I kept 1 couple. I gained 2, and that was it. So now we have 3 couples on the dance floor. I'm like, fuck, what do I do? Right? Do I just go for it? So I bitched out again. And what I did is I played like in between shit. I played like All Night Long by Lionel Richie and like Rock With You by Michael Jackson and like just in between shit. Like I didn't like say, hey, it's, I just did, you know what I mean? Didn't turn the lights on, nothing. And everybody's like, whatever, nobody's really dancing, right? Well, 6 minutes later, I look at the clock. I'm like, oh my God, it's 30 minutes till dinner. What are we going to sit here till dinner? Like, there's nothing I can do. I just got to put my head down and mix. Like, that's something I say all the time. When in doubt, put your fucking head down and you mix. That's it. Just keep it moving. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll just mix, right? And I played, and then I just dropped, what did I drop? I forget. Maybe September, something like that. Something basic, right? The second I dropped the first actual dance song, the whole dance floor flooded, like immediately. Like it was insane. It was like they were waiting on the sidelines, like waiting to go. Like, all right, you know what I mean? Like the second I dropped this shit, the whole thing flooded. I'm like, oh my God, they just hate slow songs. Like, What am I doing? I could have done this from the get-go. I didn't have to play a slow song. I'm forcing a slow song. They don't even like it. What am I doing? So I got that was a self-reflecting, humbling moment. Like, Nick, what do you like? You're supposed to be good at what you do. Why did it take you 4 songs to figure this out, right? And it got me thinking. Like, what are the future slow songs? What are slow songs dying? Are slow songs an old tradition, right? I asked Santi. I was like, yo, Santi, you ever slow dance? And he was like, no. He's like, I didn't have one slow dance at my prom. I was like, what? Not one slow dance? So I did the poll, and I'll show you guys the poll. I got a lot of answers, so I didn't analyze the data. There were so many answers. I appreciate you guys answering, but everything from I saw 1, 2, 0, 3, 4. Some people said 6 max. Some people said 9 max, 10 max. Some people say first dance and that's it, nothing else. So just straight up 0. So one person said 100 to 130. I don't know why they said that. 3, 5. I'm just scrolling through 10. 4. I mean, answers all over the place. There really wasn't a consistent answer. I mean, it was like some people play a lot. Some of you guys play a shit ton of slow songs, and some of you don't play any whatsoever. So it's interesting. And so my typical thing is if a couple were to ask me, right, I would say, well, maybe 1 to 3, depending on the crowd, if you want to break things up, right? Because that's what slow dances do. It breaks things up. If you've been dancing them for an hour straight, and, it's not the biggest crowd in the world, so you don't have a lot of people coming in and out, you know what I mean? So people are just getting tired or whatever. You want to kind of break things up in between dance sets. You play a slow song, give you a chance to grab a drink, or get your, what do I say? We're going to slow things down real quick for one song, give you a chance to grab a drink or grab that special someone and bring them to the dance floor, some shit like that, right? It's to break things up, and it's also to start dance floors. And because my doctor said that, and I've heard it from other DJs and watching videos, everything, saying yo, old people, slow dance. You need to play a slow dance. If you don't play a slow dance the whole wedding, you got to at least play one for the old people. At least play one. So that was my golden rule always. At least play one. At least play one. At least try it. And now I don't know. I guess you should always try it. You should basically always try it and see if it works. But the real lesson I learned here, I would say, when it comes to slow dance, number one, don't play too many. I've had couples literally complain that there was too many slow songs. I've had people ask me specifically, hey, what's your slow dance formula? Do you do 1 per hour? 1 every 30 minutes? Do you do 2 at a time? What's a formula? And there's really no formula. Sometimes you can dance a crowd for 2 hours straight. Sometimes you need to break it up after 30 minutes. You know what I mean? It really depends on the crowd that you have in front of you. And it depends on what their reaction to a slow song is. So so this is where I'm at. This is my recommendation. This is my 2 cents. If you disagree, put it in the comments. If you agree, put it in the comments, whatever. Let me know. But my 2 cents on this whole matter is always play one. Always, at least up front. Start a dance set with it. Either your first or second dance set, while the old people are still there too. You don't want to, wait till the last dance set. You won't need it then. Everyone's going to be wasted, right? So the first or second dance set, start it with a slow song always. Because number one, you're going to see how they respond, right? See if they like it and all that. Number 2, you're knocking out the slow song. Maybe you won't need one again for the rest of the night. Like on Sunday night, I played one and that was it. I played one in the beginning and I didn't play another slow song the rest of the night. Didn't need to. I'll explain why in a second. But then let's say you do that, you play that slow song, and then it bombs like it did for me. Don't make my mistake and panic and play another one. And then worry about your own personal, putting yourself out there. I'm like, oh my God, well, if I play a dance song now, there's only one person on the dance floor. There's only 2 couples on the dance floor. Now it's going to look dumb. Screw that. Okay. All right. It's your job to work and build. It is time to build. So you got to build now, just put your head down and mix. So don't make my mistake. You play the one, you realize it might not be a slow dance crowd, and that's fine. But go in after that. You'd be surprised. I couldn't believe that the second I played a dance song, the whole dance floor packed. But I played At Last by Etta James. Okay, people? At Last by Etta James. I don't care who you are, where you're from. That is a staple. That slow song should work every single time. Until it doesn't. So, you know what I mean? It just wasn't a slow dance crowd. So, I don't know. That would be my main recommendation for that. Always play one, right? That way you can say you do it. Nobody can complain that you didn't, all right? But like if it doesn't work, go in after that. If it works, go in after that. Regardless, you knocked it out of the way. You get it, you get their temperature, and you keep it moving. Don't panic if it doesn't work, because I think that we might be running into this more and more. I mean, if Santi didn't have any slow dances at his prom, I'm sure a lot of people still do. I used to play slow dances at proms, like when I did one 2 years ago, 3 years ago, so I don't know, but maybe it is like an older thing. Maybe people would just, it's twerk or nothing. it's Jersey Turnpike or nothing. I don't know. I'm running out of dance move names, but yeah. So then, but that was a great wedding. It was a great time. They raged and all that. And then the next day we went up to this barn. And this was my situation in the barn. I took this picture on my iPhone. Look at this shit, right? If you're listening, you can't see it, but check it out on my YouTubes. Because this entire thing is on Apple Podcasts, by the way, and Spotify Podcast. If you guys don't know, follow me on there. Give me a rating if you could. But this is my barn situation, right? It's a new barn. It's a new owner. This owner, I guess, owned a farm or some shit, decided to redo a barn, make a wedding venue right before Corona hit. So they're still brand new. They did a couple weddings before Corona hit, and then Corona hit, and then now like they're flying off the shelf because it's a cool rustic barn. But they're just getting things wrong over here. And this brought up a really good point that I wanted to talk to you guys about. And it's called a venue shit list, right? I put poop list on the thing because, like, I don't know, YouTube's algorithms. You know how it can be weird. YouTube's algorithms will see shit in the title somewhere, and then I can't monetize my video and whatever. I don't know. They've been weird lately, so I just put poop. But it's a shit list. Okay, that's what it's named. I have a notepad on my phone. The notes, the Apple Notes. I'm sure Android has it. In the notes, I have venue shit list, okay, on my phone. Venue shit list, and it's not like a list of venues I won't work at. Right? There's one on there that No, that's not true. None of these venues I wouldn't work at, okay? I would not refuse a wedding from any venue just because it's at the venue, right? I really won't. But the point of having a venue shit list, if you don't already, and I highly, highly recommend it, is you want to have a shit list you want to remember what venues like do things like where it really affects you, like affects your performance. So then when you meet with a couple from that said venue that they're having a wedding at the venue, you can look it up and be like, oh yeah, this venue, they do this, and this. And now you can prepare yourself and talk to the couple about that and prevent all this sort of things from happening. So as an example, back to the barn, Saturday night, beautiful wedding. Love this couple too. They were the coolest couple in the world, right? Long time coming for this wedding. They postponed and all that stuff. We got there super early. We were just doing sound and that's it. No lighting, whatever. So it was nice and easy. But me and Santi still got there early because I didn't know what the load-in was going to be like. And we show up. Sure enough, it's an elevator. I don't know if you saw it. If you follow my stories, you would have seen all this. But it was an elevator, and it was the tiniest elevator on Earth, right? Because like my cases fit and everything. So I was like, so first it didn't fit and had to do that. Whatever. We load in, but we get everything in, and the ceremony's in the same room as the reception. I don't know if you guys have dealt with this before. I'm sure you have, but it's in the same room as the reception, and they happen to be getting married right up front and center, exactly where I would be setting up, right? Because there's a stage in this venue. I would be up on the stage and yada, yada. So perfect, right? Now I can't set up until cocktail hour, so you have to set up in this hour-long cocktail hour time. That's the only time you have to set up, which, as a tip, DJs, this will happen to you eventually in your career if it hasn't already. You have to streamline your setup. You have to be able to set up extremely, extremely fast. Quickly, everything. Think of ways to make things faster, and that way you can be set up in 15 minutes in shitty situations like this, right? We are prepared. Me and Santi have our shit down to a science, so it's no problem, whatever. We're just going to break a sweat right before the reception. It's not the best way. I'd rather just set up and fart around for 2 hours, go get lunch like we normally do, but now, whatever. We can make it work, no problem. So we go to set up, and we're setting everything up. At the same time, they're flipping the room, and they're setting up the tables, and I'm watching, and they're setting up the tables just like you see right here, right? So just like you see right over here. They're setting up the tables in front of us. And I'm like, what? And then the dance floor's in the middle. And you can't see, I should have took a picture from the other angle, but to the right, to the left of this picture is the bar right next to me. So it's me, it's a stage, it's my two RCF stacks, and the bar there's an RCF stack right next to the bar, right? And then the dance floor's in the middle. And I'm like, why? Why would we do this? This doesn't make any sense. You could put the bar on the opposite side, keep the sweetheart table where it's at, push all the tables over, and the dance floor is right in front of me. And then if people want to dance, they can dance right in front. If they don't, they can chill in the back, and the music's not going to be as loud. But now I'm blasting everyone out in front of me, right? So I felt compelled to. I usually don't say nothing. I usually just keep it moving. But this made no absolute sense, and I can tell like they're kind of new. So I was like, all right. So I was like, hey, and I came up to them. I was like, hey, listen, no problem either way. I go with the flow, okay? Not trying to, tell you how to run your business, but just can I make a suggestion? Oh, no problem, right? I was like, all right. You see, if the dance floor's here and we have tables between me and the dance floor, when I go to dance people, anybody who's sitting at these tables are going to have a very, very bad experience at your venue. And that's exactly what I said, right? And I try and put it in a way where it's like a bad experience at your venue. Not like, oh, I'm going to blow, it's going to be hard for me. Like, no. Try and be a perspective taker, right? Try and put it, so I try to, instead of like making it about me, I made it about her venue, right? They're going to have a bad experience at your venue because, they're right in front of my speakers and I got to be loud enough to reach the dance floor over there. And her response was, oh yeah, I totally understand. We're trying to figure it out. But like, hopefully everyone here who's sitting here will be up dancing. And I'm like, bitch, what? I mean, yeah, I guess they're not going to have a choice. They better be up dancing because otherwise we're going to blast them the fuck out. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean hopefully they'll be, whatever. Okay. And then she went on to say, I've been talking to this DJ and I think I'm going to end up putting a house system. But in the meantime, can you run your speakers out on the dance floor? And I didn't, right? And the reason why I didn't run my speaker all the way across is because we were setting up during cocktail hour. I had no time, and I didn't know what the whole floor plan was even looking like before. Like, you know what I mean? They're setting the tables while we were setting our shit, and it was just hard. It just wasn't set up right, and I was annoyed. So I was like, fuck that. No, I'm not running shit, right? But she's like, we're going to get a house system. So then I put that on the shit list as well. So let's talk about the shit list, adding this to the shit list, right? Number one, rough load in, right? So that just tells me like, all right, Nick, don't give them huge deals or some shit, and for whatever reason, don't give them, if someone I personally know is getting married at this wedding, they're not getting a discount because loading sucks, right? Number two, tables in between me and the dance floor, right? So that's something to write on the list because if I meet with a couple, right, and they're having their wedding at this place, I'm going to say, listen, love the place, gorgeous venue. Can I make one suggestion though? Like I really, and then I'll say like, listen, the only way I'm fucking DJing there is if I'm on the dance floor. Is that there are no tables between me because I don't want to blow out your guests with it, and I'll sell it. And the couple will 100% say, you know what, you're totally right, and then they'll push for that, and the couple's the boss, right? So they'll get it. Number three, what was the third one? Oh, the house system, right? So if they end up doing a house system, so now I've made a note of that. So if I meet with a couple from this venue, I can bring that up. House system, I heard they're putting in a house system. Did they yet? Oh, they did. They told you about it. Perfect. Now I'm going to say, I'm going to go check it out, make sure it's a good house system. And if not, I'm going to use my own shit, or we're going to sneak my own shit, but regardless, you're going to have great sound, and I know what I can do on that end, right? Having venue shit lists help you do this. It helps you save your own ass, right? If I bring up my venue shit list right now, like a lot of them has to do with house systems. Like I went to a venue recently in New York. I talked to you guys about it a couple of weeks ago, where basically the house system was so bad you couldn't even hear it. You literally could not hear it, right? It was West Hills Country Club. I talked about a couple weeks ago. Well, they're on my venue shit list, right? Awful house system, completely blown, cannot DJ on it. So that's fine. Not saying I want to work there. Of course I'd work there. I'm not a diva, but I'm going to tell the couple, listen, the only way I'm DJing your wedding is if I can bring my own speakers. You have to get that approved by the venue ahead of time because trust me, I am not able to do my job properly if I use that house system, right? Like basically like everything like in here. I mean, I have one venue on here for serving us sandwiches, just so I know. Just so I'm not going to tell the couple that it is what it is. I'll eat the sandwich and the bag of chips, but like, just so I know that shit's on there, just so I know that in the back of my head. And then I have one venue that's a mean old lady that owns it and micromanages everything. So it's just, but see, so it could be as stupid as that, right? You're not going to mention stuff like that to a couple, right? You're still going to work at this venue. You're not going to turn down work, but at least you know this stuff in the back of your head, so you can reflect pricing that way. Maybe it's a bad load-in or it's just a terrible experience, so maybe you won't want to give a discount if you give discounts or whatever. Maybe you just want to charge full price, and that helps make it better for you, right? I hate working here, but you know what? Whenever I do, I charge full price and I make more money. It could be that. It's just a good idea. Keep one in your phone, people. Just keep one in your phone because you're gonna save yourself a lot of bullshit later. And if you're like me, you'll forget. Like, how many venues do we work at, really? Like, realistically, how many venues do we work at? And how do we remember what's what? How do we remember who does what? Who, it's just tough to remember. A lot of them just kind of blend together, especially if they're one-off venues you work, every couple months. It's not like a steady venue that you're always at. So keep the venue shit list, people. Use it. Trust me. But moving right along, then I traveled up to Long Beach Island, and this is Mallard Island Yacht Club, Sunday night. Great wedding. That's the groom right there. The groom literally, I think the groom called me mid trying to figure out what to play next. So I'm like, shit, he's right here. It's funny as hell. You know what else that happens kind of funny at this wedding? I guess you can't see it if you're listening on podcast, but so basically, Santi's trying to get a picture of me, right? And Santi's got a pretty professional camera. It's a 6D. It's a full frame, like it's legit. It's like what a wedding photographer would use, right? Like similar, right? DSLR. And he's trying to get a pic of me, and then all of a sudden, these ladies here, right? These ladies think that he's a photographer and he's taking pics of them. Right? And I'm dying because I'm watching them pose for Santi. Santi's getting like an angle of like the dance floor for me, and they just stop and they're like, "Ooh, photographer." Afterwards, the lady in the blue comes up to Santi and keeps coming up to Santi for the next 15 minutes. I was like, dude, you need to go hide. Keeps coming up to Santi for the next 15 minutes. Like, yo, can you get a picture of us? And she wants to get a pic with all the friends. She thinks for some reason he's the wedding photographer. So then it's like, oh, can you get a picture of us? Santi's like, all right. Oh, can you get a picture with us and the friends? Yep. But Santi's like, oh, all right. Another one. I was like, Santi, you got to send me these. These are all, she's grabbing random people and having Santi like take pictures of her. So, I don't know. I thought it was hilarious. So I guess that's something that could happen, right? Something if you got a squad that's taking pics, which you should. If you're bringing an assistant, I've preached this from the mountaintops how important it is to bring someone. Never do weddings alone. And a big reason is they get good footage for you. I get all these cool pics and whatnot. And yeah, I wouldn't get him without him. But sometimes people drunkenly mistaken him for the actual hired photographer, and they want all these pictures. It was just funny as shit. But anyway. So we're at Mallard Island, and it was a great wedding, really, really good crowd, and they had a really good playlist. They requested a couple songs, or one or two I forgot about, and then yeah, I tried a couple things out, and that brings me to the songs to add. So I do this every week. If you're just joining us for the first time, I always talk about a couple songs to add to your wedding crates. If you don't have them there already, some are older, some are newer, just whatever I run into. And I'm like, damn, I'm going to play this again. Whatever's been hitting, whatever's been working well, I always share that information with you guys. So the first one is CeeLo Green, Forget You. Now, this song, this song was on the radio every 5 seconds when this shit was on. Oh my God. Like when this shit came out, it was like 2014, 2013. Forgive me if I got the year wrong, but it's somewhere in there. It was on the radio nonstop and it got played out in 2 seconds. So it was one of those songs that like we played for a little bit, but then we got so tired of hearing it, we all stopped playing it. I think anyway. I haven't heard a DJ play this in forever. I haven't played it. I forgot about this song, right? Well, I got a request for it this weekend at that Sunday wedding. So I'm like, oh, yeah, forget you. You see, you're driving around town, right? And I don't have a perfect routine with it yet. I'm trying to figure out how I want to mix into it. But I mixed into it in the first dance set, and it's one of those songs that everybody knew. The older people, the younger people, they were fucking singing, having a great-ass time. It's one of those beautiful, universal songs that can go in your universal crate that will work for any crowd, any age, any whoever at a wedding because they've all heard it. And it's one of those things where it's been long enough, right? It used to be played out, so they know all the words, and they know the song really well, and it probably got annoying to them because it was on the radio so much. But it's been long enough that now you can play it and still get a crowd reaction. Got a great reaction. Add that back to your wedding crate if you can, deal with the crowd. Deal with hearing the song again, that is. Next one also goes in the universal category. Not something I play I like Forget You. This one is this one is Pink. Get the Party Started by Pink, right? Coming out, this party. Little cheesy, right? A little, I don't know. It's on the edge. It was also requested this weekend, so a song I kind of forgot about. It's off of her first album, so it's old. And it's another universal song. It goes down with Forget You. It goes down there with Black Eyed Peas songs and stuff like that, right? Like I Got a Feeling and Let's Get This Party Started or whatever. Everybody, that whole thing, like that. Those are all universal songs. They're like newer, like last like 20 years, I guess, or whatever. It's not like, oldies, but like younger people will know it. Older people will know it. They'll all dance to it. Like it's a universal, good universal song. If you have like a basic crowd, this song will work. I forgot about it, and yeah, I used to play Raise Your Glass every once in a while, but that just, I was like, oh, it's so just, I'm tired of that. Just so cheesy kind of to me. So like I just like stopped, and this is like a good replacement for that. If you play Raise Your Glass, you know what I mean? It's got a good little bop, and yeah, add it to your crates. It worked this weekend. I'm not gonna play it every weekend, but if I got the right crowd for it, if I just need something universal, and I, first or second dance set when you're trying to include everybody, definitely drop it. St. John, the Imanbek. I'm going to say Imanbek. I think it's Imanbek remix. I have no idea who that is. I didn't do any research on that. But this is a TikTok beat. You've heard it before. There's no way you haven't heard it before. It's a 128 kind of like drop. And yeah, it's all over the internet so much that even the older people know this too. So like it worked great. I played it all weekend. I've been playing a little bit. I just decided to add it because I didn't tell you guys about it. Just in case for some reason you haven't added this to your crates. Definitely very, very, very important because it's super relevant right now. Is it going to be a mainstay forever? Nah, it's just something. I think this summer you're going to be able to get away with it afterwards. Delete it. But yeah, definitely a banger. It's just basically a drop. I don't even know what they say. I don't even know what the lyrics say. I'm different. Man, I told Santi, I played this on our first wedding Friday night, right? And right afterwards, I told Santi, I was like, man, I should have been adding this shit. I should have added this song 8 years ago, whenever this came out, whatever, 7 years ago, I should have added this song. Like, why haven't I been playing this at weddings? This is a song. This is a rap song. I'm Different by 2 Chainz, right? 2 Chainz, but I got me a few on. Fucking, dude, this guy, this is a song that everybody, my age or younger knows every word to, right? It's perfect. From 25 to 35, you're going to know almost every word of this song. It was a bop. It was a huge hit when it came out. And it's in the 90s, right? So it's not super slow, but it's a newer hip-hop song that, you could start replacing the basic shit with, right? I want to start replacing the basic shit. I've been saying this. I want to slow down with playing Crazy in Love and yeah, and I want to slowly bring in some other hip-hop songs that are universal, that'll work great, and try and differentiate my sets. And this is a great song, great place to start. It's never failed for me. Not one single time, right? If I'm doing 2000s hip hop, I'm in that kind of range. You got a lot of 25 to 35-year-olds. It has not once failed. Not once. So it is, trust me, drop it, get an edit of it or whatever. Everybody knows that piano, the ding, ding, what I'm talking about? Like, everybody knows that shit. Drop it. It will go off. You will see. And then the last and final song of this list was a risk. Was a risk. I was playing Get Low by Little John, right? And I have an acapella out. I forget who made it, but I have an acapella out. And I basically, the acapella out says, back it up. Back it up. Hey, you right? That sort of thing. And then I mixed in this next song. And it's a super recognizable, like, instrumental, like the beat. You'll know it right away as soon as you hear it. And I told Santi, I was like, this is a risk. We'll see if this shit fucking works. And it went off. And the parents were singing it. You're not going to, I know you're not going to, I did this on Sunday, right? So it was on Sunday. It was for the Mallard Island crowd, like this crowd right here, right? So it was probably right after this picture was taken, I did it, right? But you're not going to guess. You're not going to believe me, but I'm telling you, even the parents were singing it. It was crazy. And that is The Real Slim Shady by Eminem. Bump, 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 bump. Like it's that recognizable beat. And I didn't even do like chorus first or nothing. I just went right into the verse, which is not like if you've heard the song, obviously you've heard the song, right? The verse is crazy. He's talking about just killing this person, and it's a crazy verse, and it's one of those things like definitely play dirty if you're allowed to play dirty versions at your wedding. I would definitely play it dirty because like the clean version doesn't sound great. This weekend I played the clean version, so it's like missing a couple words, but still, the parents were singing it. So I don't know. Maybe they're just cool parents, okay? But this song also came out in 1999. So let's just do math here, people. Like if this came out in 1999, so that's 22 years ago. So let's say you have a bride that's 25 years old. Well, this song came out 3 years after they were born, right? So their parents were relatively young when it came out. Like the average like age of a parent of a 25-year-old, couple, they were probably in their late 20s, maybe early 30s on average when this song came out. And I don't know, I'm 32. If this song came out right now, I'd be bumping I'm also a DJ, so I'm not a good example, but like regardless, it's not like this is 1999. This shit came out when they were relatively young. And I think like this is something I don't think about enough. Like we got to think about like what are the average paid age of parents now. The average age of parents have grown up in the 90s. Like they had their 20s and they were young adults, right, going out to bars and shit in the mid 90s, late 90s, right? That's like the average now. So because I caught a parent. When was it? It was I think it was last week. I caught a parent. I played like "I Want It That Way" or "As Long as You Love Me," one of those like Backstreet Boys songs. And I caught a parent, like gray hair, singing every word. And I'm like, that's weird. Wow, I guess he was just into that in like '98. But it's like no, like he was probably 30 years old in 1998. You know what I mean? 1998. If you're 30, you're born in '68. You're 50 something years old. You're 53, 54 years old right now. Maybe it was a bop. So this shit socked me. This shit socked me. It socked me and shocked me when I played this, right? Because it's like, it's just like, it's a raw song, right? He talks about some crazy ass shit. But like everyone knew the words and bopped to it, like old and young. So I don't know. Try it. I'm going to try it again this weekend and see what happens. But, try it. Just try it. You just try it. I'm telling you. If it doesn't work this weekend, then like I'll reform. I'm just being honest with you guys. I just played it this weekend and it worked. So like I'm gonna continue on the research. But worst case, if I'll let you know in a couple weeks because it's gonna be an every week song as long as like the crowd doesn't seem too like uppity. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna drop it and just see what happens and get out quick or whatever and kind of figure it out. And that's another thing, by the way, as far as next couple weeks, I just want to let you guys know, I'm going to figure something out for next week, but next week from Sunday to Thursday, I'm going to be in Vegas. So follow the stories. Me and my beautiful girlfriend, Steph, are going to Las Vegas. We're just taking a little R&R, and I'm trying to like unplug and whatnot, right? I'm trying to like, not, I'll be on my stories and acting a fool and having a good time, but like I'm going to like, have an email away message, and I'm going to not look at any messages or anything. I'm going to try and unplug. So as far as the show goes, I'm not going to be streaming on Twitch, and I am going to be skipping a show, but I'm going to try and figure out something, maybe like pre-record something to post that day or something for you guys. But then we'll be back at it the week after. So I'm just taking a week off, just so you know. Now, Woo Pig is a little late. I'm not going to lie. We're going to have to give Woo Pig a call right now. We're going to have to give Woo Pig a call right now. Hold up. I actually got, for this exact situation, just in case this ever happened to me, I actually got the TRS wire, right, that is required to hook your phone into my mixer so you guys can hear the phone call. It's pretty high-tech stuff. So that's what I'm going to do. So we're doing this live, people. So So if you're listening, I just plugged the wire in, plugging this direct in my phone, and now we can call him. We can call him and get some answers, okay? We're going to get some answers right now, people. That's what we're going to do. We're going to get some damn answers. So let me dial him up. Here we go.
Did I get the times fucked up?
Hello?
What's up, Nick?
Hold on. I got to get my headphones in so I can even hear it through this. Hold on. Figuring this out. Hello?
Did I tell these times up?
Oh, there's Woo Pig. Can you guys hear Woo Pig? What's up, Woo Pig?
I'm an asshole, man.
Where you at?
The times mixed. I'm at my office.
Oh, you're at the office.
Yeah, man. I'm ready. I totally fucked up the time zones. So you're ahead of me by an hour. And for some odd reason, I was like, this motherfucker, I thought it was like in an hour. But, you know, it.
Uh-oh. That's right. You're in Arkansas. It's a whole nother time zone over there. You're live on the air, by the way. I guess I should have said that. Can you hear me? Did I lose him? Uh-oh. We lost Woo Pig, people. We lost Woo Pig. Let's call him back. Disco Worm met the Supremes.
What is happening?
Sorry, you're live on the air. Did you did you get the link?
Yeah, I fucked up the time zone. So I'm logging into my computer right now, and
okay.
Then I'll click on the link, and we should be good.
All right, cool. See you in a minute.
Okay, all right.
All right, late. Bam. Did that work? Did you guys hear that? Did you hear the whole thing? That's why I never used that before, but I had that cord just in case for that exact reason, in case I ever have to call somebody. That way you guys can still hear it. It's not weird. I don't know. Hopefully that worked. So Woo Pig, I don't know if you guys heard him. Woo Pig is logging on now. We're going to bring him on. Yeah. Time zone. 1 hour. 1 hour different. I actually had to, I got to be honest, I had to look up Arkansas on the map. I didn't really exactly know where Arkansas was. I knew it was down south, but I wasn't sure if it was I didn't know where it was. And I was looking and Arkansas is right next to Memphis, and Memphis, what separates Arkansas from Tennessee is the Mississippi River, and it goes all the way down. And I was looking, I don't know. I didn't even realize where the hell that shit was on the map. Cool. Sound was a little bit low. All right, yeah. So that's just me. I got to turn it up on my end on this. So for in the future when I use it, I'm just going to bring that up. Good looks. Good looks. Yeah, because that's going to be a way. I want to mess around with phone interviews too. Just call random people. You know, I was thinking about starting a thing basically where we just call random people and bother them. You know, prank call people. So shit'll be fun as hell in there. But let's bring Woo Pig on. Woo Pig just logged in. He's getting his things on here. So. Time for the Woo Pig introduction. If you guys aren't familiar with Mr. John Simmons, so my man is a YouTuber, 21,000 subs. We mentioned it earlier, right? And what's even more really awesome, I was looking into just his YouTube, analytics and stuff. This man has 1.7 million views with 174 videos. Now, put in perspective, I think I have 150 something videos maybe right now, and I have a third of those views. So I need to know what his secret sauce is. And these aren't it's not he just had one video go viral. He's got a lot of videos with a lot of views. It's not just one video filling this. So I don't know. The man kills it on YouTube. I love his channel. That's kind of how I was introduced to him. Hails from Arkansas, owner of Crown Entertainment Group and the Crown Vision Works, which we'll talk about. Let's welcome my man DJ Woo Pig, aka John Simmons. What's up?
What's happening?
How the hell are you? Make sure your levels are good.
I'm doing all right. There you go. Just give you a little clean swipe there. It still looks like shit. All right. I'm going to apologize. So I thought I'd be joining you in an hour.
Sorry about that.
That's totally not the case. And I think it's my mistake. Totally my mistake. So I've got next door, like next to my office, I've got the full DSLR set up with the microphone. Shit would have looked crispy. But now you got the FaceTime camera and the audio that probably sounds like trash. Man, thanks for having me. How's Nick?
Me, I'm great. I'm peachy. I'm keeping it moving over here. How are you? How was your weekend?
I'm doing okay. Everything was good. Weekend was super busy. And then yesterday was my kiddo, his first birthday. So
I
of course we had,
saw.
yeah, man, that little dude is growing up quick. My mom always said, like when you have kids, time just flies, but like boom, it just the year went by super quick. But I can't complain. Things are good, business is picking up.
Hell yeah.
So I can't complain a bit.
You guys are open?
Oh yeah. So, and that's we're kind of weird here in Arkansas. We're a bunch of rednecks. So we like rules. What rules? We
Hell
never
yeah.
quite right. We never quite shut all the way down. Of course, like we got the huge postponement stuff like everybody else did.
Yeah.
But it never like completely shut down. But now things are like we're picking up these postponements again, so things are back in full swing. It's a fucking madhouse around here. Sorry, excuse my language.
No, you can curse here. That's
I know.
totally okay.
I think it's you're, and that's the thing. Nick, I gotta tell you, you one guy, and maybe it's just a difference in cultures. Because we met at NAM 2 years ago, I think, for the first time.
That's the first time we met.
Right. And I think both of us, A, it was an early morning. B, we didn't know each other. We had seen each other on the internet. So, and we were working with ADI Pro DJ. So they round us up and they're like, hey, let's do something real quick. And they were like, no introduction, no nothing. And I always, we're different people. So I'm going to say this now. And I thought the same thing about Bar. Maybe it's the New Jersey culture. I was like, this guy's a fucking ass. What is it with this guy? And then I kind of got to know your story. And it could not be, I totally judged a book by its cover. You're one of the coolest fucking people I know. And hands down, one of the best DJs, and it doesn't matter if it's internet-based, non-internet-based. I've seen you spin, dude. Mad props, mad respect. You're a great guy and a fantastic DJ.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm working on not trying to come off like a Jersey douche because I get that a lot. A lot of people are like, "Oh, yeah, when I first met you, I didn't like you. Then I looked a little deeper, and you're not that bad." Like I get that all the fucking time. I'm like, I got to work on my first impressions.
And that's the one thing that I when people meet me, the first thing they say is, A, where is your black guy voice? Because that's not what I'm hearing right now. And B, it's like you're a big fucking guy. It's I'm not a small guy, and maybe the camera sheds 10 pounds or cuts off a couple inches, but I'm 6'1", 250. I'm a big guy. But yeah, those are the two things people are like. You sound unlike any other black guy I have ever. You look like Rick Ross, but you sound like fucking MacGyver or something. I don't know.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
I totally judged the book by the cover. You're a great guy. Great guy.
Thanks, man. It means a lot. But does this look familiar? Can you see what I'm seeing right here? What's this in the middle?
Oh,
does this look familiar?
Yeah, I know exactly what that is. That's the Hercules RMX. My very first venture into the controller world.
Mine too. I gotta thank you. I was doing research on you. I was listening to your interviews, and you mentioned I was looking. I remember I was trying to think a couple months ago, like what the fuck was the name of that shit? It was Hercules something. I couldn't think of the name of it. You said it in an interview, and you said it was your first control. It was my first controller. I was like, oh shit, we're the same age.
I think it was Bar's first controller too.
No way.
Yeah, we had the same talk. When I got started DJing, I guess younger, it was my freshman year of college. My roommate was a DJ. His dad was a DJ, moved from Louisiana, and he brought some CDJ 1000s. And of course, me being a broke kid, I could not afford it. So I ventured out. I saw that controller online, and I forget the DJ that did the video, but he was like doing some slick scratching and turntable style stuff, juggling.
Oh
And
there was a
everybody
video on
thought he
that.
was full of shit because at
Yeah.
the time you couldn't scratch on controllers.
Yeah, who was that? Oh,
It was
I
a black
forgot
guy
about that.
sitting down at his desk. It's like
Oh.
he was doing a fantastic job.
I gotta find that video.
Oh yeah, and that was my first venture into the controller world. And then I sold that controller and got some terrible turntables because then I decided I want to be a turntablist. And I think I picked up like some. I don't want to say any names just because who knows, they might want to work with me in the future. But they were belt drive, not direct drive. And they were slow to, like, you put any pressure on the platter, they're stopping.
That's because
So
it's a
I
belt
said,
drive, yeah.
right. And so I said, fuck
Yeah.
that. Back to the controller I go. And I've been on controllers ever since. Now I've got some Technics set up in the office with the new Rain 70. I feel like I kind of cheated the craft, because you hear the old men on fucking DJ idea sharing. If you don't know how to mix with turntables, you ain't no fucking real DJ, which is complete bullshit. I'll tell you
It
that
is
right
bullshit. No, that is bullshit.
Right.
But it is fun. It's fun to, you know what I mean?
Agree.
Like
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, like I agree. Like because I started out with CDs, so that wasn't my first. That was just my first controller. Hercules was the first controller all in one I ever bought. That's when I got rid of the 19-inch rack mixer or the 21-inch rack mixer and all that shit. And then I started with that. But so like I started like CDs, controller, and then I went to vinyl later. But it was one of those things where once it clicked and I learned how to use them, it's so much more fun. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
It really is.
And I think with turntable, I think it just gives you the kind of the control that you're looking for. It's the difference between driving an automatic car and fucking just slamming gears. It's just the more control you have, generally the more fun you have. So yeah, I'll agree with that. I
have a 6-speed Hyundai for that reason. I have a 6-speed 2014 pewter colored Hyundai Elantra, my beater, and I'm proud. She's a good girl. She's a good girl.
You take care of her, she'll take care of you.
That's it.
Now, is your turntables? That's your full-time setup? You don't do controllers now, do you?
I don't.
Okay.
I have an SX3 as a backup, and I use it very, very seldomly. It has to be like a situation where it just doesn't make sense to bring turntables like whatsoever. It's so rare. It's like not like I've gone years before using it. I recently just bought this, by the way, guys. I don't know if I forgot to tell you guys. I got the Reloop Ready.
What is that thing?
Reloop Ready just came in. This thing is adorable. Video coming soon.
Okay.
But
all right. I'll be looking out for that.
It's like a little mini controller. It fits on top of a 13-inch Mac, and you can literally. It's like little tiny, but it has all the features, the pads, everything. Yep, it's like supposed to kill that. It's supposed to take a shit on that. Okay. Apparently. Okay. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to replace. Like something you could bring on an airplane with you.
I just got one of those. The one thing that I hate about, I know you're a Serato guy, as am I. The one thing that I hate about Serato is you've got to have an interface plugged into it to record a mix. So we do a lot of like custom first dances and stuff like that. So I've actually got to go to fire everything up just so I can kind of blend a mix form to send out.
You never tried like Premiere Pro? What do you use to edit? You could do it in whatever editing program you use.
I know. I suck at editing,
easy,
man.
Bro. Dude, it's easy. I'm telling you, bro. You just and then you do the little cross thing to make it all sound good and you're good to go. Little crossfade in between the cuts, and that's it. As long as the cuts are on time, if you're just editing one song, easy, bro.
Yeah. See,
easy peasy.
This is where I need a little Nick Spinelli help. Now, Nick, how old are you? You're 25?
No, I'm 30. I'm your age. I'm 30. How old am I? I'm 32. I just turned 32. I'm born 89. Okay. You're born 89, right? From my research, I couldn't find an exact date, but
See that I try to keep that shit off the internet. I'm glad you couldn't
Uh-huh.
find it.
Yeah,
No,
couldn't find it.
I turned 32. I'm sorry for mistaking your age. I turned 32 next
Yeah.
I guess this month,
Yo,
about
you
28 days or so.
people from down south are so like polite. I don't even I couldn't
I
survive. You
know
got
it's
no
the
wonder you
thing.
think I'm an at. I'm sorry for mistake. First of all, you mistaken me for being younger.
I
Okay,
know,
you don't
people.
gotta apologize for that. That's all good. If you're like, yeah, you're like what, 45? Like, fuck you, woo pig. I'm actually.
Bro, I'm
But
sorry,
you say
man.
no, don't say your side. It's cool. But yeah,
It's a fucking thing.
you guys are
I'm
so
sorry.
polite.
See,
I
I just
love
did
it.
it
I just
again.
love it.
Fuck,
I
I'm
love it.
apologetic.
It's too funny.
So,
But yeah. So when do you turn 32?
the 29th, here in 28 days or so, end of this month.
Oh, so you're a Cancer. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't wait. Time out. Are you a like a sign guy?
Not
I
really. I just
Okay,
know, my mom was born the day before you on the 28th, so I know she's a Cancer.
okay,
So like I know how,
okay. I
I
feel
know
like that
certain
was
ones.
huge. I feel like that was huge, like with our parents, like knowing your signs and reading into all that
Reading it.
bullshit. But
Yeah. My mom
people
talks
put
about it all
shit
the
like,
time.
oh my goodness, like I've got some older friends and like on Facebook, of course, which is where the old people hang out. It's like, oh shit, fucking Virgo season, and I'm like, that means nothing. It's fucking June 12th. Shut
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Or Scorpio season. I know about Scorpios too, just because my girl's a Scorpio, and apparently Scorpios are
Okay,
they're very loyal people, but you don't want to cross them. They'll take you out.
that sounds
Apparently, I
like
don't know.
hell. That sounds like my
November
wife.
birthdays. Yeah.
Now, doing my research on you, or I think we may have had this conversation early. You started DJing weddings super early, right?
Yeah, I started when I was like 15, so I was younger, but like it was like a part-time thing. I didn't go full-time until around the same time you went full-time. I was gonna say there's a lot of parallels to us, man. When I was doing my research
Okay.
on you, like
Now, how did
you what? Like you were 24, 25 when you like took the jump, right? Something like that.
Yeah, so when I took the jump to like full time, is my internet shit? I'm sorry. We live in the country, so maybe it's lagging on my side. And here I go fucking apologizing
Yeah.
again. I'm sorry, bro.
No, you're
We're
good.
rednecks
You're
out
good.
here.
I can hear you perfect. You're just your video go locks up just here and there. So you're good
Little
regardless.
choppy. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I took the jump full time at like 25. Was doing it part time in college, bar nightclub scene, but I'm not. Although I may seem like a social butterfly, that's not my jam. I'm not like I'm like fuck people.
Speaking about bar club scene, do you still got this chain?
Oh shit!
You still got
Oh
this
shit!
chain, bro? You still rock
Hell
this?
yeah! I still got that thing. That
I'm just
thing goes in my
wondering.
lockbox.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's in the
I'm an
lockbox.
old fucking man, Nick. I'm sorry.
Oh, you have lock boxes. You got money buried in the
Shit.
yard, don't you? And
Dude,
coffee
you
cans,
do your
Folger
fucking
cans.
research, man. I'm
Dude,
impressed.
I just like the chain. I just want to know if that do you wear it? Is it underneath your shirt right now? Like
No,
you just don't wear it out no more? Uh,
nothing anymore. That's a company. That's like when like startups first started becoming a thing. So
yeah.
that's made out of wood, and the guy had like a CNC wood carving machine, all like Kickstarter branded. That was like the very first like Kickstart campaign I was ever a part of.
No shit.
Wow, no shit. That's
Yeah, the good on
that's hilarious. I'm
gold
also
plated, baby.
slightly embarrassed by the lack of facial hair on my face. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
You had the baby face back then. You had the baby face. And then you showed footage. It was like an old video of you doing a club. And you were even honest. And that's what I like about you, man. You're just like straight up and honest. That's how I try to be. Like, no bullshit. No trying to like smoke and mirrors. I'm the whatever. Like, even in that video years and years ago, when you were in your younger years too, right? Where, you were like, I remember you started out the video and said that, listen, last time I played this club wasn't that great. Hoping it'll be better this time, bringing you guys along. And then that was it, like just straight up like honest. And then like you switched the footage and it looked pretty popping. And it was like all country and rock. Like what's it like
Yeah.
DJing in like Arkansas?
It
Like
sucks.
what's it like?
It's not great.
No?
No, I mean, because here's the thing. Like in my state, there's 3 million people. There
Okay.
are like 4 hot spots in the state that have, I'm not even going to say a decent bar and nightclub scene, because even like the decent spots, it's not shit compared to the coasts or Vegas or none of that. Even like Dallas, we just don't have like a poppin' scene. It's not a big thing. Like the biggest nightclub here in Little Rock, which is like 35 minutes from me, it's
Hmm.
called the Electric Cowboy. And I don't, right, right. So it's a bunch of rock. Right. The big draw is the Mechanical Bull.
Oh.
It's right. It's interesting to
Uh,
say the least.
just like I thought it
Um
would. That's crazy.
yeah, what you think it is exactly what it is. It's
Well, what about weddings though? Like, is it all like
see, and that's the
country barn
thing.
stuff or no?
No, most of the venues here are barns. I would
It is. All
say
right.
out of 100 venues, I would say 70 of them are barns. It's only here in the last maybe 5 or 6 years, some of the venues have kind of branched out where it's like more of a nice like banquet room where it's all white. You go in, you paint some color with uplights, make it look kind of dope. But yeah, most of the venues here are barns. It's not unique at all.
So that's interesting though. So like you said, in the last couple of years, these more elegant, more like quote unquote ballroom types have been popping up.
Yeah, yeah, and it's nice to see because it's maybe just because we're behind the times. I think the reason why a lot of barns pop up here in Arkansas is because we're super rural, and most of these wedding sites used to be like on farms.
Yeah.
So it just kind of fits the vibe. You build a big, metal barn and make it look rustic and chic. But a lot of the brides now, the younger that the brides get, they're fucking tired of the same played out
I was gonna say
barn
same
look.
pictures, same everything.
Same,
Yeah.
right,
Every wedding looks
same
the
everything.
same.
So right. So it's only been here in the last 4 or 5 years that we've really even been able to expand a lot of our package options because most of it is you go into a barn and it's all kind of the same setup.
It's hard to
There's not a
uplight.
good. It's hard to
Yeah.
uplight because it's all wood and it looks like shit. Like if they want rose uplighting, by the time it hits that brown barnwood, it looks orange or red. Like it's just tough. So
Yeah. It's bistro
it's
lights for
nice
days.
being up. Yeah, it's nice being able to have a few more options than we did even 3 or 4 years ago for sure. Yeah, I'm jealous of like the guys out on the coast. I see you and SCE and a lot of my other friends on the coast. You guys go into some dope ballrooms, and there may be that's the thing. Jersey's so fucking tight. There may be three of those in my entire state.
Yeah, we just have a large population of bougie people. I mean, all the bougie people are in our state. It's just insane from New York City and all that. That's the only reason why. So it's just a whole.
Now, how is that dealing with those clients? Does the bougie atmosphere create a bougie client?
Yeah, I mean, you just when it comes to that, like my couples, it just they're all cool, and the richer weddings, the more higher end weddings, they actually party harder, and they're actually easier to DJ, believe it or not, than like the middle
Really?
class or like lower because they're rich, they rage, they don't give a shit, they're rich, they got their maid at home, taking care of their kids
It's the
and cleaning
exact
their
opposite
house.
here.
So they just rage, but the problem, not problem, but the overlaying. Essentially, there's no room for fuck ups, right? So like, if you
Yeah,
fuck up anything, it is
you're done.
times 100. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like a mic cannot cut out. Everything has to be done perfect. So there's that added pressure. You know what I mean? They're cool couples and they all rage and it's a great time doing higher end weddings, but there is no room for error. Like you cannot.
yeah.
So there's that.
See,
But like,
it's kind of exactly the opposite here. Because and here's why I love going to these trade shows and talking to my peers because the attitude and the mindset about it they're completely different. I really like going to LA because we get to talking about stuff that's non-wedding related. Like we'll talk about house purchase price. And it's like, dude. Right. So my home here was like $100,000, and it's a
that's it.
mansion. That's it. That's it. And we're talking like
How many square feet?
1,400.
1,400 square foot. How big's your yard?
I live on an acre lot, bro.
So you got a 1,400 square foot house on an acre lot for $100,000. That is like 350
My
here.
my mortgage payment a month, $612.
Unreal, man. And your
It's
taxes
fucking
are crazy, right? Like taxes are low.
cheap. Everything's cheap here.
Jersey would be 12,000 a year at least for taxes, probably 15 depending on where you're at in
Ooh,
Jersey, how close to the
dude,
shore, how far up north you are.
these rednecks down here would fucking kill somebody, and that's not that's just me being honest.
Yeah,
And I'm a
I
part of
feel
the
you.
redneck society that would be a little upset. Uh, but back to like the differences. Like our most popular package here is like $1,500.
Yeah,
And
that's good.
$1,500 here that's almost a month's salary for somebody that doesn't cover.
Yeah,
So like our cheap weddings, they're just happy that you're fucking there. They're happy that they can afford it. Like the higher end stuff, it, it's it comes with a lot more liability. Like again, you fuck up, like I'm telling all my friends, and I don't give a fuck. You tell your friends, a mic cut out. It happens. You are no different than anybody else.
yeah.
But yeah, our clients that don't spend a lot of money, they tend to be the most appreciative and party the hardest. Whereas some of the uppity weddings that we do, the clients are like super bougie. They don't want to dance. And again, difference in culture. The higher end weddings most of the time don't even have alcohol because we're all like back row Baptist here. We don't want our friends to see us
Oh,
drinking.
because you're in the Bible Belt.
It's terrible, bro. It's
Oh,
terrible.
that's
It's
interesting.
terrible.
Well,
Yeah.
what about the format of a wedding? Like, what happens in Arkansas? Like, does it start with intros right away? Like, what's an average wedding format in Arkansas?
It's pretty well, I say it's pretty standard. Like I know up in the northeast you guys do like there's a full cocktail hour, maybe a pre-dinner set and all of that. Like here's the cookie cutter timeline for every wedding I do. Ceremony starts at 6 o'clock outside. Most of the ceremonies we do are outside with
Gotcha.
receptions inside. So we're kicking off prelude music 30 minutes before. Ceremony, a long ceremony nowadays, like 20 minutes. We go straight inside. There's no cocktail hour. It goes straight into a dinner set. Like the
Hmm.
preacher says, the blessing over the food, people are going in. At that point, dinner's open, bar's open, bride and groom are outside taking pics. Um, we introduce them back in. Uh, we do the big three: first dance, father daughter, mother son. They go eat. 30 minutes later, we're doing cake cutting and toast, and then we're opening the dance floor. And
And
then
then
an
how
hour
much longer
later,
you have left? Like at that
uh,
point,
uh, 2 hours generally.
so it's usually like a 2 hour dance set, but like everything's up front then. So like once you start dancing, that's it. There's nothing else to
Formalities
do
are
for the
done.
rest
Yeah.
2 hours.
The only thing that might break it up is bouquet and garter, which that's
Hmm.
starting to as the brides get younger. I'm finding that that's not always a thing anymore now.
All right, so it is
And
doing
then the
okay.
fucking fake send offs. God damn it, I hate them. Uh,
The what are you talking about? Like the sparkler send off where they go through the
right,
tunnel, or
right, but
the bubbles, or the
right, but that it's do y'all do fake send offs there?
what do you mean fake? Like, describe it.
So dance floor's popping, and in an hour the photographer. So at that point, everybody has to go outside for what called fake send off just to get the picture. And then you got to try to get everyone back inside to fill the dance floor again.
Well, and you broke up. When does this happen?
Generally, the fake send off happens about an hour before the party's supposed to be done.
What? You have to
So
you have to
they
bring everybody outside, get some whatever picture, and then bring them back in.
correct. It's bullshit.
Oh
It's
my
bullshit.
God. I would start a Facebook group against this. If this shit happened in my market, I would be so pissed off. I'd make t-shirts.
It's a normal thing. Like we're not talking
No.
every once in a while. We're like out of 10 weddings, 8 of them are doing a fake send off. And
What does the
because
picture even look like? Like, so what's the picture look like? What are
it's
they getting?
it's nothing special. It's the same thing as like the traditional leaving the venue sparkler picture. But because we're in the Bible Belt, here's why it's different. Because we're in the Bible Belt, the kids, they don't want their grandparents to see them having a good time, drinking and twerking and having a good time with their
No
friends.
way.
So at the fake send off, that's really kind of the opportunity for all of the old people to leave, and then the young
No.
people come back in and party. Yes, that's
No
so
way.
common.
So
It's
that's
almost
the real reason why they do it then.
correct.
Oh my God, that's so interesting. So they don't want to party in front. Why? That's so
Because
wow. What a different culture.
they don't want to see their grandparents see them having a good time drinking and dancing to provocative music. It's a real thing, bro.
So,
Real talk.
wow, that's so interesting. So what do your first dance sets look like then? Like, do you not like? Is there certain songs you will not play during the first dance sets before this?
Right. So even like on our planning list, they've got because it's such a common thing. It's our planning sheet. It's like after our fake send off, or if you're having a fake send off, what do you want that vibe to be like? So pre send off, we're talking a lot of the older stuff, a lot of the stuff that's a lot safer, and then after the older folks leave, that's when we're getting into more of the new hip hop and even like some of the newer like poppy stuff. Um, but yeah, it's super safe. Pre fake exit, we're talking Maroon 5, we're talking like some JT, super safe stuff. And then after they come back in, that's when we can get a little bit more raunchy, but it's nothing absurd. It's not like an explicit club set. That's not it. It's just they want to shake their ass, but they don't want to do it in front of grandma.
So there's a whole population of old people in the South that believe that weddings are still super traditional and super whatever,
For sure.
and they don't understand. They have no idea what goes on
No.
this last hour. They're just
They
in the dark.
Yeah,
They
and
just
that's and because that fake send off, the photographer leaves, all the people like that are important, they all leave. So there's no documentation of her granddaughter doing a keg stand 15 minutes after she left.
oh my God, that is so interesting.
It's
I
crazy
could
that you have no idea about this. This is my life. We do this every week.
I've never heard of this in my entire life. Like never
This
once.
is why I love talking to people. This is it. It's so
Yeah,
different.
same. This is interesting. So, all right, music in general at weddings, where like in your area, like do you ever play trap music? Do you ever play Drake or anything like that? Do you ever play like EDM, or are
EDM,
you
absolutely not. No
never
EDM, and that's I think we've
that?
even talked about this. I believe on Instagram, like some of the DJs that do a lot of like the redrum edits, EDM stuff.
Yeah.
It would never fly here. Not for
Wow.
weddings, not for clubs, not for anything. It's just not a very common thing.
Gotcha.
Um, once the grandparents, the older people leave, we get into Drake and some of the newer hip hop stuff, the baby and we small trap stuff. And I hate to call it the mumble rap stuff. It still hasn't really caught on here. Which is fine for me, but a lot of these like underground hip hop stuff, like even TikTok music is probably big in other regions. It's not a thing here. It's just not a thing.
So you would say, are you kind of like would you say your region's a couple years behind everybody else
Yeah,
in that aspect?
for
Well,
sure.
where's the closest spot to you that would be with the times kind of thing? Like, is there like a spot near you? Like, you ever do a wedding like a couple hours from you, like somewhere in your area where it's like, whoa, like these people are super dialed in, and you had to kind of approach it different, or is it everywhere around you?
A couple hours away. No,
Yeah,
I would say I could get to legit, like a good music club scene would probably be either Dallas or New Orleans. Dallas is right at like 6 hours from me. New Orleans is 8. But even like you go down to New Orleans, I mean, it's weird down there too. I've done a couple clubs down there. That's super heavy trap hip hop stuff.
because that's where it
Like
all
I
Lil
think
Wayne and all them, like that's
right,
where
that's where it
Collie Park.
originated.
Hmm.
Right. So you go to Dallas. I think that's more of that would give you probably a better vibe of what is going on in other major markets. But yeah, I would say my entire state, we're probably even some of the production elements. We're just now starting to see that become even like a mainstream style thing at weddings. Um, like I remember when I got uplights, and this was 6, 7 years ago. I was the first in my market to get them, and it was like a big thing.
Oh,
And you
wow.
guys have had uplights at weddings for a decade or better, right? I mean, this is
Something like
old
that. Yeah.
shit. Um,
Wow.
Stuff like sparks and CO2 cannons and photo booth, that like it's just now starting to do starting to become a thing in my market.
See, that's a huge advantage for you though too, which I kind of like am jealous of that because when you're in an area like that that might be a little bit behind with enhancements or just what other DJs are doing, you can now somewhat predict the future and also you have an opportunity to bring things to your market like before anybody else and kind of be like the shit, whereas
Yeah,
like
be the
in
first
our
one.
market, yeah, what sucks with our market is like everybody has furniture, everybody does everything, so like we're constantly trying to figure out what is the next best thing. Like we have nowhere
And
to look
that's
for, we have to find it, like
man,
there's
and
you know
that's
what I mean.
right. That's one of those things. Like I'm in my office right now, but looking across, I've got a like a hoverboard stereo T set up, and
Nice.
the first person
That's
I
what I got.
saw with that was Jason Jani.
Yep.
And a ton of respect for Jason, but I think like with being on, he's always on the cutting edge of something big. And I bought that hoverboard, and I'm like, I'm the next motherfucker. I'm fucking Jason Jan out of the South, and people ain't nobody paying extra for that shit here. It's like, hey, I got a dope setup, and they're like, we
That's
want to
not the
hear
play.
fucking right. It's like we want to hear Luke Bryan. We don't give a fuck what you look like.
No, 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 no,
No,
no. But that's not the play. You don't charge like in my opinion, when it comes to furniture, and this goes for any DJ, no matter where you're at. This is my humble opinion on it: is that you don't want to charge extra for it. You just want to make it your setup. That is one of your
right.
large competitive advantages. If you are listening to this or watching this, and you're in a market where none of your competitors use DJ furniture, buy it tomorrow. Figure out logistically how you could set it up, break it down. I leave mine together with everything in
Yep.
it, so I just plop it out of the big case and plug it in and keep it moving. So like I can still set up in 15 minutes, right? But like you make that's your setup now. You don't charge
Yep.
extra. If you want to raise your price, raise it. But like if you just make it as your setup, then you're going to hand out more cards and you're going to be known as that, wow, that DJ with the cool setup. You know what I mean? It's going to be a huge competitive advantage for you. People won't pay extra for it because they're not going to value that, until it's at the
Right.
venue and it's like, you know what? This is way nicer than any other DJ setup. You know what I mean? And that's when.
And I think I've learned that now, but even like looking back, because everybody looks up to folks like Jan I and Bun and Brian B. And they see that and they think if I just buy the shit, I will be them. And I was
Well,
young and
yeah.
naive too, and that's just not the case. It's a thing that you've got to make it your own.
Yeah.
And maybe the market down here is a little bit different from the market in the Northeast or on the coast or whatever. It's one of those learning experiences that I had because I legit bought that setup and I was like, there's not a motherfucker down here that can take me out. I'm Jason Jan out of the South.
That's
And
it.
then I was like, no, Jason Jan is where he's at because he's a hardworking motherfucker. And he's built a brand that that is competitive. And it wasn't until I kind of found that out in myself that I really experienced some good growth.
And that's a good point too. Building a brand and working hard because, like, you kind of, that's something I really respect about you. And I want to know if you have any tips or like any, just in general, like how you did it. Like so I always say I never owned my own company, right? So I'm
Mhm.
I'm different in that aspect. So I don't talk on company shit. I don't talk on any of that stuff because I don't own a company. I never have, and I never wanted to really because I'm not good at that. I'm not organized. I'm not good with, any of that company shit. Anything to do with company shit, I'm not good with. And then also, I want to have that extra free time. I don't want to have to run it. And I always say that if it wasn't for me working for another company, if I started my own thing, I don't think I'd be able to do all these YouTube videos or all the extracurricular stuff I do because I'm worried about running a business and everything, the weight on my shoulders from that. You
Yeah.
fucking built up a huge YouTube page, right? Like a very,
Yeah.
very good YouTube page, 174 videos to date while building your own company. Like, do you have any tips? Like, how'd you even do that? Like, I don't think I could personally do it. I
I
don't
you
really.
know, that's the one thing, especially now that I have a team that's here and a baby and a wife at home. I'm fucking terrible at time management. I'm terrible at it. But the one thing that YouTube has always kind of been like, it's been not necessarily a hobby because I went to school for journalism. It's always like making video and doing editing. It's something that I've always enjoyed. And then
Documenting. Yeah.
right, document, your life story. People, I think it's so crazy. People like watch a new YouTube video and they're like, dude, you have got it going on. But if you go back 7 years, I was using fucking seismic audio speakers. Let's not, this isn't new. I
Yeah.
just turned my shit around.
Yeah.
So it's the one thing that I can say, as like a business owner who also has this stuff that's like on the side, figuring out a good way to like manage your time. That's time management is key. And then on the business side of it, if you have a weakness, hire that weakness out. Don't try to struggle if you're not good at social media. Hire it out. There's places like Fiverr or 21 Hats or whatever it is. You can find somebody to manage your social media, to write the witty captions and get the creative content and edit your pictures down. You can find people that can do this so you can focus your time on something else. So I started doing that early, hiring my weaknesses out and then taking the free time that I had and kind of putting it all in on the business side of things.
That's a really, really good point. You got to some people struggle with that, kind of looking in the mirror and figuring out, what are your weaknesses? What are you bad at? You know what I mean? And what are you good at? And identifying that, and then hiring it out. That's a very,
Yeah,
very,
because
very, very good point.
I'll be the first one to say I'm a very okay DJ. With like stacking myself up between the guys that I know that are terrible and like the best of the best, or at least the best of the best in the mobile world. I would say a guy like you, Nick Spinelli, who's at the top of being an excellent entertainer, whether it's your setup or I know you can fucking mix your ass off or whatever it is. I'm somewhere in the middle. But one thing that I am fantastic at is building connections. And the building of connections is what has made my company successful. I've got DJs on
Networking.
my roster who can mix me under the table,
Yeah.
but they wouldn't be in the same room if I didn't make the connection to get them there. I'm just a mediator. That's all I am.
Gotcha. That's super interesting. What's it like? Speaking of mixing and all that, like, what's it like in your market? Like, do you know, like, do your competitors mix? Is it like a standard? Like, if you don't mix
It's
at a wedding, you're in trouble, or
right. So the thing that I tell my DJs in particular, I tell them we are fucking cruise ship directors. You ever been on a cruise?
no?
Oh well, I'm a cheesy guy, and
What's
again,
it like?
I'm it's interesting. The cruise ship entertainment director, their one job is to make sure that you have an unforgettable experience. You've spent all this money on this vacation. They want you to have a good time, whether it's letting your hair down and getting on the dance floor, or whether it's, having a drink or visiting another spot on the ship. They're there to ensure that you have a great time.
Okay.
So I tell my guys, all of my guys know how to mix. I personally have trained them on how to mix. But the one thing I'll tell them is I would much rather you not mix than to go out there and fuck it up. So be a cruise ship director, make sure that people have a good time. The mixing is secondary here. The entertainment value is what will get you rebooked. It's not your mixing skills. And song selection's key. I don't care if you're let's scratch Bastard or somebody else. The thing that makes those guys and mixes pop, it's song selection. So
Sure.
if if
100%.
if you're out there putting shoes in a dryer with your ones and twos on how your song is being mixed together, if you're out there fucking it up that bad, it doesn't care if it's two bangers back to back. The people aren't going to dance.
Hmm.
It's just that's
So don't
so
mix
I will.
beyond your means. sort of
Right.
thing, know
So
your
down here,
limitations.
all of my guys mix. Mixing in key isn't something that's like a real thing down here, but all of us beat match, all of us mix bar for bar. But there's a lot of guys out here that don't. They're fading out of one song into another.
And
Which to
are they charging a lot? Or are they kind of on the lower end, or
it's really,
where are they
there's
at?
guys in my market that are in, I would say, that are my direct competitors charging the same amount of money, and they're fucking fading in, fading out, which I think is cringy as hell.
That's
But
so interesting.
it's all right. It's a totally different ball game down here.
It's
We're a
just
bunch of
different. It's
rednecks.
just well, you guys are just a couple years behind. That's all. Because it used to be that here. It used to be able to get years ago when I started, but it's probably 10, 15 years ago now. I learned how to MC first. You know what I mean? I didn't know how to mix for the first like 2 years. So like you faded in, faded out, and no one knew the difference. You relied on like MCing and creating that party. Like teaching routine.
Right.
Do you guys still do like are line dances big? Like routine? Do you have routines of certain
There
songs? Get down tonight.
not a wedding. There is not a wedding where at least 3 line dances are not played. It's just not a thing, especially because,
So the couples ask for them.
Right, couples ask for them, and because a lot of our weddings are dry, meaning no alcohol, that is sometimes that is the
crazy to me.
only way you will get people to dance. Starting
So
the
how
dance
often? How often are weddings dry?
5 out of 10.
No.
Yeah,
No.
for sure.
So you need, dude. So you're no.
Dude, if there's
No.
alcohol at my wedding, I know for a fact it will be a banger. If there's no alcohol, ooh shit, it's gets interesting
Oh
because
my God.
right. So imagine, here's the thing. Imagine down here, and whatever your beliefs are, be you. But
Yeah.
down here, we've got a large Church of Christ population, meaning they don't even have like musical instruments in church, and they aren't dancing. So imagine
It's just hymns.
a right. So imagine a Saturday night wedding, no alcohol, and the people aren't going to dance.
Oh my God.
Why
Oh my
hire a
gosh. I
DJ,
should be
right?
saying.
That's what some people would say. Why even hire a DJ? Because they still kind of want that atmosphere, but they
Sure.
don't realize how the situation they're putting their DJ in, where you cannot win. And like, here's the thing: I see a lot of folks on social media. Like the only thing you see on their Instagram is their highlight reel. But like down here, we still want to try to make sure that everybody has a good time, and it's not uncommon at these no dancing, no alcohol weddings for some of my DJs to get $100, $200, $300 tips, and it's just because they play good music for people to have as background noise. It's a common thing.
That's so unreal to me. Like, so half of weddings in Arkansas don't have alcohol. Meanwhile, in New Jersey, there's talks about how we're going to start incorporating weed bars at our weddings because it's legal now, and how
What, dude?
and the logistics of that. We're trying to figure out the logistics of that. Like the next couple years, that's going to be a thing. We're going to have like you
I
have
am
cigar
going to come work
rollers.
for you.
Like I swear to God, they're going to have weed bars where they'll roll you a joint.
Yeah,
It's all being
we're-
passed around
we're-
right now.
Oh my God, we are behind, and that's just it's if you ever hear like the good old boy system, that's how it play. It just trickle down. That's just how we are down here. It's crazy.
So it's just so interesting, and that's good. That's why I love doing this show and talking to different, and hearing these perspectives, because it really, like, I would never imagine. Like, I could count on one hand the amount of weddings I've done without alcohol, and every single time I was sweating bullets. Like, oh my God, what do you mean? No, it's never without alcohol. I don't think I've ever done a wedding without alcohol. It's the weddings that have open bars. Where it's like it's a cash bar. You know what I'm talking about? Like it's a cash bar. You have to pay for every drink. I've done a handful of them, like 5, 6, and it's like cash bar. No one's gonna drink. Oh my God.
All right, so down here, 5 out of 10 don't have bars. The 3 out of the 5 that have bars are cash bars.
Oh, so if you get an open bar where drinks are
It's
paid
going
for,
to be
you
a
can't wait for
fucking
this wedding.
rager.
It's going to be ridiculous. People are going to die.
Yeah, because it's like free booze and I get to party. What is going on?
The last hour, that is. You can't get too drunk until the last hour. Are people pounding shots? Where they're like, all right, everybody come outside for the send-off. People are like, time to pound shots.
It's interesting to get that perspective, because a lot of the stuff that you guys do it's just absolutely foreign to how it is down here. Absolutely foreign.
Oh man. Like I had a wedding once where some venues do shots, some venues don't around here, right? It used to be all venues. It used to be you could smoke cigarettes inside the venues and drink. Well, it didn't matter. There was no rules, and then they started restricting it because of stories like this. So one venue was giving out shots at the bar, right? And people were getting really wasted. And at this particular wedding, two people puked on the dance floor. One person puked on the way out of the exit door, all over the door. The bride pissed herself, literally pissed herself, and died in the bathroom. And they're carrying her out. And the bride is getting carried out, and she obviously pissed herself, like in her white dress. And I'm like, oh my God. And I didn't know what to do. I just kept playing hip hop.
That's all you can do.
I'm like, I was like, tell my,
That's
oh my
all you
God.
can do.
Like, I've seen shit shows, and like down there, you can't even like let loose until that last hour, and that's not even enough time to get to that point. So have you ever seen anybody throw up on the dance? I've had people throw up on the dance floor and then keep dancing, just and then just keep two-stepping. I swear.
I've been doing weddings now 14 years. Once, maybe twice. And now that you were saying like some weddings do shots, some don't. In my entire wedding career, I've never seen a bar that has done shots ever.
Wow.
Ever. Wow. And it's not even like hard liquor isn't even, it's a thing, but most of these weddings are beer and wine only. Like they're not serving up drinks, not even margaritas. Like you get beer or you get wine or you get fucking sweet tea, because that is the caviar of the South.
You know what's ironic too is like your state has so much less regulation, so much less tax, so much less everything, whereas we have all the taxes and all the laws. Like we can't, I don't know per se. You tell me what your gun laws are or any of that. Like we can't.
Wild West.
You can't. But to buy a gun here, it is absolutely atrocious. The amount of paperwork and background, and then even when you have it, there's all these special rules, and it's just so strict with everything here. All our laws. Great. Can't you guys just like drink and drive? Like not the driver, but like everyone else in the car, right?
You can't have any open containers.
You can't. All right, so it's not like West Virginia.
Yeah, no open. But guns, like again. I say rednecks as like a derogatory statement. Make no mistake, I am also one of those rednecks. Like in this cabinet, right there, there's 4 or 5 guns in there. Like it's just
you're not even sure.
Right. If you wouldn't get demonetized, I would totally I'm not kidding. Like that's how it is. That's it's just how it is.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we can't.
But everyone behaves though.
Right. We can stay strapped up, but don't drink at a wedding, because grandma might see you twerking on someone you went to college with. Yeah.
I personally think, my belief, if I'm right, because how everything else evolved, I think like in the future for your state, it's going to get better. Like I think 10 years, weddings are going to be completely different. I think that's just like, I think traditions and like all that stuff kind of like dies when like older people aren't around anymore, and it slowly kind of goes out. And I think eventually you guys will be like complete shit shows just like us. But it's just going to take way longer, And way longer.
My question is, when 10 years, when we catch up to where you guys were 2 years ago, where are you guys going to be?
I think we're just going to move. My personal thoughts on that is I just think we're going to move to just such an informal reception. It's not even going to be funny. It's literally going to be, let's hear it for the couple. They do their first dance, and then the rest of the wedding is just,
the party.
It's just stations. Get food as you want. The stations are open for the first 2 hours, but we're dancing early, and it's literally like a lounge vibe. Like I'm just playing background music, dance sets. Just no formalities whatsoever. Like I think we're just literally moving to part. Like we're the modern wedding is slowly morphing into just a house party essentially, or just a party at a fancy venue. Like
that sounds like a good time to me.
I think the formalities are gone, man. What in Arkansas, what are like the go-to bangers? What are you starting your dance sets with? I want to see if there's any parallels to that.
Oh boy.
You know what I mean? What would be your top 5?
Top 5 opening set songs, and this is probably going to be a tad bit ridiculous, because we Dave Lander, we're buddies. He made a comment the other day well, it was about club DJs and playing like if you don't play at a club here, like it's gonna be a problem.
No shit.
Yeah,
because his point is it's 18 years old, 18 years old now. Like that song came out in 2003. So if you play that in a club now, it's just like, why are you playing this old shit? This is like my parents' music at this point.
There's not a DJ in the state that is at a bar or club establishment that doesn't play it. So opening dance set for a wedding here, it's gonna be a line dance. Top 5, I would say Wobble, Cupid Shuffle.
No.
Yeah by Usher. Can't Stop the Feeling, JT. 24 Karat or Uptown Funk by Bruno. Those 5 just work down here.